This is the Healthcare Marketplace Specialization, Healthcare Marketplace Overview. This is Module 1.3.1, and my name is Steve Parenti. We're talking about key issues for the 21st century. So what are key issues for the 21st century in the healthcare market? I would identify them as really three major ones. There's technology, there's population demographics, and then health and lifestyle. By technology, it's really the issue that we as a society, United States, and most of the industrialized world really would prefer to see more technology solve our problems. We're looking for genetic solutions, we're looking for surgical interventions, we're looking for advanced diagnostics, and it's one reason why the healthcare system is very expensive, because these things, to develop them, take quite a lot of resources. In terms of population and demographics, basically the industrialized world is aging in place. Our fertility rates are a lot lower than they were previously, and probably more concerning is that we're getting older, and that's a major issue. And then lifestyle, there's lots of stuff we do that really are not that great for us. People talk of them in terms of sins, whether it be food, whether it be smoking, whether it be alcohol. All of them give us some sort of pleasure at some point in our lives, but at the same time, they do come with costs. So when we think about the notion of health and being healthy, that's really what everybody wants, but understanding that a lot of factors go into it. Most of this course is going to focus on medical care. The physicians, the hospitals, the pharmaceuticals that all go into it. But clearly, that's really just a piece of it. In some cases, people think maybe it's only about 20-25% of what goes on. In demographics, one comment that's made a lot is that people win the zip code lottery. They're just born into a better place than many other people around the world, and that gives them options, whether it be income or clean water or education that they hadn't had previously, and that's obviously going to affect your health as well. Another lottery, not so much zip code lottery, but is the genetic lottery. You just might have really good genes. You could have a situation where you come from a family that lives really a long period of time, and that doesn't really, it processes fat better than others. There's lots of instances where people look to folks from different parts of the world and see that they have a greater prevalence for heart disease because of either just diet that's just part of their culture, but more often than not, something that's adjusted over a longer period of time that's become really almost a genetic anomaly or feature. It depends on your perspective. And then lifestyle issues is a major issue. Basically, smoking is not something that we're born to do, but if you choose to do it, it will really dramatically harm you in terms of your health. So let's just talk about demographics for a second. And one of the major things to keep in mind is this notion of we are an aging society. So this is the United States distribution in the year 2000, both in terms of men and women. There's a few more women than men. But what we see here is there's this baby boom population, folks that were born right after World War II from 1946 really until 1964, 65, and they're kind of moving their way through. But there really weren't as many folks being born after them. And so one of the concerns is what happens as that group moves through, but also there's a concern that people are living longer over a period of time. And so here we are in 2025, we see folks living longer. There are more people 85 plus than there were previously. We don't see quite that pyramid. It's a little bit of a pyramid, but now the baby boomers are kind of moving their way through, and they're really advancing, and they're kind of older, and there's not a lot of replacement here. And so if I allow replacement, the thought is, well, who's going to take care of these folks? And can we find a way for them to take care of themselves? And they may be us pretty soon, depending upon where we are. And in 2050, then it gets really crazy. I guess the only advantage here is to sort of say, well, if you are, if essentially you are a male and dating didn't really work out for you really well earlier in your life, take a look at this now, gentlemen. The distribution here, there's lots of ladies. And so my father actually was in a sort of a assisted living facility for a while before he passed, and I do remember that the key word was, if you were an ambulatory male, watch out. It's an interesting world. So this is a little more distributed, one would say, but boy, it's really stacked, and that we have a problem right now where really once you're above 75, your functional status really diminishes substantially with current health and trends and demographics. So we really need to find better ways for folks to manage their illnesses just as a society as they get older in life. So some thought questions for demographics. How will the demographic shifts affect the market for physicians, for physician services, long-term care services, as well as hospital services? How are these demographic shifts going to affect younger generations? And in addition to this population distribution, what other demographic or socioeconomic changes will affect healthcare markets and why? Some really critical questions. It's good for everybody to sort of have their own opinions about these things because there's no right or wrong answer, but it's a major issue that we need to confront as a society. And it's not just the United States, it's really a global phenomenon, particularly even more so for some of the demographics actually in Japan and China in particular because of their one-child policy for so long. This concludes our module on healthcare trends going forward into the 21st century.